it takes like a crematorium like 8 hours to dissolve or to completely dissolve a body. Right. Fires are really ineffective. The best answer the form gave was to eat them. Eat the person. Mm-hmm.
This is 24-year-old Christopher Brandon Lee. The chilling statement he makes? He didn't just say it, he lived it. On June 28, 2014, 19-year-old Erin Corwin vanished from Joshua Tree National Park, southeastern California. Suspicion fell on her husband, Corporal Jonathan Corwin, as he reported her missing 2 days later on June 30th. However, he passed the polygraph with ease, and detectives were left searching for answers, until all evidence pointed to one person who twisted the truth and blamed everyone but himself.
She openly lied to people in her life. She lied to me. What she lied to you about? She told me that her husband was beating her and she was afraid for her life.
And this was just the beginning. As detectives dig deeper, the dark secret Christopher killed to protect is finally revealed, shattering everything they thought they knew. This interrogation footage captures Christopher before the horrifying discovery, where he's just the person of interest. But as you'll see, the tragedy that unfolded would be so chilling that when the investigators found Erin's body, they were forever haunted by the sight.
And you said you talked to somebody else? You talked to another detective or deputy or what?
Deputy Sheriff Milan and then another female officer. I don't remember her name.
Okay.
They asked me, they're like, hey, you never went missing. You know them? I'm like, yeah, I know them. And like, I didn't bring up mine and Erin's thing because it didn't seem pertinent at the time.
Okay.
Because like, that's how my mind works. And then that's why they wanted to talk to me Sunday afternoon. It was like, why didn't you bring that up? Kind of important. I was like, I didn't realize it was.
Okay.
So then I talked to them that day about stuff like that. And that's when they told me that, they said,
Christopher and Erin were reportedly neighbors, living alongside Erin's husband, John Corwin, in an apartment complex in 29 Palms, Marine Base in California. The complex was built for military personnel, as both Christopher and John served in the Marines. It was the year 2013 when Erin and John, both just 18 years old, moved to Palm Coast shortly after getting married. Around the same time, Christopher had returned from his deployment in Afghanistan to live with his wife, Nicole, and their 6-year-old daughter, Liberty. But beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary neighborhood, a dark secret lurked, one that only Chris can reveal.
We'll just start from the very first time you met. What's your neighbor's name? First name?
Erin?
Erin,
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what's their last name?
What's the last name too?
Corwin. Okay, so it's Erin and John Corwin,
Yeah.
and they're your neighbors.
Yep.
Okay, and they're married.
Yes.
Okay, and when did you meet them?
I met her. She moved in before he got back. We didn't really, it was just kind of like, hey, you're the new neighbor, what's up?
When was that?
I honestly don't know. Dates, you could ask my wife, she's like my treasurer and gatekeeper. She's like my...
Was it like a month ago or a year ago?
It was a while ago. It was
Okay.
a long while ago. And then, didn't really have any interaction with her until I got back from Okinawa. And then, we talked me and my wife went over there and hung out with him and his wife and some of their friends. And then, I was having a really hard time adjusting back to the last appointment for some reason. Mm-hmm. And, my emotional state was I didn't get anything. I was just kind of falling apart mentally. And I guess that she gave off some kind of she was in a bad relationship, and she said her husband was beating her and choking her, and she was scared for her life. And man, fix that. So I just being in the state I was okay, well I can fix this. And then broken pieces fix each other. So we just kind of started developing a bond that grew stronger. And then over time, we started getting closer, having longer conversations. And then we kissed a few times at her place. And then my wife, she found out and she blew up. And I guess I wasn't there when they actually confronted her, but she'd been lying to me, lying to everybody, to her friends.
Who confronted
her? My wife.
This statement is both telling and troubling. Christopher was married but sought to fix his broken pieces through an affair with another woman. Their connection wasn't just a fleeting romance, it had escalated into something far more dangerous, with consequences that no one could have foreseen.
So her husband's name is.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and Aaron didn't start actually talking until probably a couple months after he got back from deployment.
Okay. How long have you known her? If you had to take a guess, more than 6 months.
Yeah, more than 6 months. Probably more than 6 months, less than a year.
Okay. So you guys started. You never hung out when he was on deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on deployment, he comes back, and then is it parties, or when does that start? When do you guys start
back?
hanging out?
It was probably a couple months after you got back. You could tell that they were having marital problems and
What do you mean?
they would yell at each other and normal Marines get stressed, they yell, that's what they do, and she comes crying or stuff like that, and it's just normally it's just whatever, but I was pretty heavily, and so I was I don't give anything, and I don't know, I'm not really sure how it happened, it just kind of meshed together somehow.
You said you had your issues. What was kind of spawning those your last deployment?
Yeah, I don't know. Me and my wife, you get so used to being away from each other that it's hard to be with each other sometimes.
Okay.
And so we just weren't communicating, and I was in my own world, I wanted to go back to Afghanistan because it was easier there, all you had to do was wake up, stand post, call patrols, do stuff like that, It's real simple stuff, no real life type responsibilities.
You didn't have to worry about the wife nagging or
just,
clean up your room or something like that.
And she's like, you're different, blah, 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 and it's just, it was easier over there,
Okay. When did you and your wife, when were you guys kind of having those?
It started when I first got back, and it started getting, it got worse, but not to the point where people would probably, I don't know if anybody noticed, but it was just a tension,
Mm-hmm.
We never really, and then, we just occasionally would blow up at each other, and we knew, we had issues were going on, I just felt I didn't need help, and I didn't want to listen to her when she said she needed help, that I needed to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
She was right, that I was not all there,
Okay. And when were you deployed? This was Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, I got there right before Thanksgiving, and I came back in April.
So you were back, were you guys staying at the same place where the apartments there on base? Okay, so you came there, and you hadn't seen Erin or met her when that time. So how did you kind of cope with what you were dealing with when you first came back?
My downstairs neighbor, we were hanging out a lot.
Which one?
His lessons Malachi, drinking pretty heavily, but we were just hanging out a lot.
So you kind of start feeling depressed a little bit. You're drinking, and then you guys start hanging out as couples, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, when he first got back, we were hanging out with him as a couple, and she was into horses, my wife, so we'd all go to the horse rescue together and hang out up there. We'd ride horses and talk and do stuff. Her husband wasn't really into that, so he wouldn't come with us.
Okay.
Erin and Nicole had one thing in common, besides sleeping with the same man, of course, and that was their love for horses. The two women quickly grew fond of each other, visiting ranches together and forming a bond. However, this seemingly innocent friendship masked a dark betrayal. An affair between Christopher and Erin that would eventually lead to tragedy.
You said that you guys started hanging out more. What kind of drew you more towards Erin?
I'm really not sure. We used to watch The Walking Dead together, and we used to do that as a couple.
Whenever The Walking Dead was on, that's when you guys kind of hung out.
Yeah.
Started getting
started getting more serious.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
I don't know, we were playing Halo, and she would talk about how she was unhappy and how she wanted to go home, but she had letter, and just stuff that I guess now I'm thinking about it kind of makes sense, but not really. But at the time I didn't care. It was just she was a change from reality, something outside that I could focus on that wasn't the monotony of, being back in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's...
What did she say about her relationship?
She said she's really unhappy. He scared her. And she'd say that he would choke her whenever he would get mad, and she said she'd noticed it before they got married, but she thought it would change. And that's what, and then I was like, oh, I can fix this. In my mind, white knight syndrome, something like that. It was she was a distraction from everything else that was going wrong in my mind.
Okay.
Something that I could focus on and fix. Because that's when I get really stressed out, I can build things or fix things. It just helps my mind unwind and how to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Although the detective lacks solid evidence, Christopher's evasive and conflicting statements raise suspicion. A single slip-up could reveal a crucial clue about Aaron's whereabouts. And that is exactly what happens. He makes a startling admission. Their affair, as he claims, was more than just an illicit connection. It was an emotional refuge.
So...
Okay, so you thought you could fix that relationship?
Yeah, I thought I could save her, or maybe help her get home, just get out of a bad relationship or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, it was just making things worse.
Okay, and is this was it like a therapy for you or?
Yeah, it was an escape.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call it therapy because I wasn't fixing anything, but it was some people do drugs, or have alcohol, or alcohol. I would drink and I could focus on something else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it was. It was just something else to focus on. I could pretend my problems weren't real.
So, did it just start out talking?
Yeah, it was just casual conversation. She we'd talk. She'd not really happy. And honestly, that's kind of how it started. It just avalanche downhill so fast. I was falling apart so fast. I just wanted to feel something. I was really numb to the world. My wife, she'd yell at me or anything. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. I'd go outside and have a drink and just.
How would your wife feel if you were having a relationship, or she found out if you guys were having a relationship?
But she found out.
Oh, did she?
Yes, and I guess she had got hold of my phone. I'm surprised she found Sarah. Probably went super secret with my phone. And I guess she had taken the SIM card out and checked the messages by putting it in her phone or something. And so she got really upset, was crying, and she told. And they confronted Aaron. I wasn't there when they confronted her. I don't remember where it was, but I guess she had been lying about him being abusive, and then he was like, I was just defending myself. She was the one that hit me first, and all sorts of stuff. My wife would be the one to give you more information on that because I wasn't there.
Okay.
But I guess she didn't lie to me. She lied to her friends.
Lying to you about what?
She was in a bad relationship that it was all. She would tell me that they were in a super amount of debt and all the money and spending all the money. And I really don't know if anything she ever told me was true or not. Because as soon as everyone found out, I just stopped talking to her.
The relationship started, you guys were playing Xbox, she's telling you about her relationship. Did you get into, did you describe to her your relationship with your wife, or kind of read
I confided in her, that I was and, she's like, you can't be doing that stuff. It's kind of she was someone to talk to about stuff that I didn't want to talk to about with my wife, problems that I didn't think I needed to fix, but I guess consciously I knew I needed to talk to someone about it. But I guess she was someone that I could tell stuff that I didn't want to tell anybody else, because she was a secret. So I could tell her my secrets.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean when she was a secret? What?
When me and her were in a relationship, no one else knew about it, so I could text her things, be like, hey, this is what's going on, blah, 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 stuff that I didn't want to talk about with the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, and did it start out, so you guys were talking, hanging out, playing Xbox, did it say, did you say, I'm going to text you? I mean, how did it happen from the night that you guys were playing Xbox? How did it happen so fast?
I got her number me and her were hanging out at the dog park, and one of us went to go get Carl Jr., but someone's phone wasn't off, so I gave her my number, so me and Dawn would go get Carl Jr., and she could text us what they wanted. And then, like, I think one day she texted me, she'd be like, you know, this, and this. I can't believe this is happening. This is what I'm supposed to be like. And then, like, I'd be like, well, let's meet outside. We can talk about it. And it just kind of went from there. We were texting a lot back and forth. And it's just like a real strong emotional bond where I guess just, it's like,
How often would you guys text?
A lot, like, a couple times an hour at least. Every day. Like, and it got to the point, you know, like, it was like, kind of like, it was like, you know, a new relationship.
Mm-hmm. And was that when you were at work, or?
It was at work, was at home. Anytime I got the chance, really. Because, like, you know, it was my make-believe life. You know, something, like, you know, something bad would happen. When me and Nicole get in an argument, I'd go text Aaron, you know, just like, get away from my real life, go to my make-believe life. My happy place, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you would text her and just whatever, I mean, random stuff about your day or complaining about
stuff like that. Just,
you know, it's kind of the same way with her too, right?
Mm-hmm.
She complained about her. Did she say anything specifically like how he acted when he came back from deployment, or what kind of things was she saying about John?
She was just saying that, you know, he'd always push her around and, like, use McMahon moves on her when she told him to stop. He wanted it, and, you know, like, he'd want to and just stuff like that. Just, you know, complaining, saying that she wanted to go home, but he didn't have the money to send her home. And she wanted to run away and get out of there, stuff like that. Okay. She talked about leaving all the time, but I guess the big thing was she didn't have any money to get home.
When Aaron and John moved to 29 Palms in 2013, their young marriage faced significant challenges. Aaron suffered a miscarriage shortly after arriving, and the emotional toll deepened cracks in their relationship. Compounding these struggles were allegations of abuse against John, though these claims remain a point of contention.
Did she ever say she wanted a divorce or anything like that? Did she talk about that?
She talked about leaving, but I don't know if she was like, she said she was scared to divorce him, but I don't know what that meant. I never really got in deep into asking her about that. She mostly talked about getting out of there, going to Tennessee, going somewhere else. She said she wished she never got married. She didn't get the wedding she wanted.
Did you guys talk about like each other's marriages a lot, or was it like
mostly her telling me about how, you know, she was unhappy and scared her. But, like, I don't know if she was lying to me or not, because from what they told me when they confronted her, she was the one that was like hitting him first and always yelling at him.
So take you to the point where you guys are talking, or you're playing on the Xbox, you're talking on the phone. It sounds like you guys are still texting. Where does it get to the point? I mean, because it's a pretty, it's a line that you're kind of jumping over when you start going to the kissing, or when did it become physical? How long ago?
We weren't physical very long, maybe a couple weeks, until my wife found out. She had texted me, she was like really upset about something, and she took her dog for a walk and she was crying. I don't remember what she said, I think something said. But I went down there to talk to her, you know, and I was like, I don't remember if we kissed that night, I don't think we did. But like that's the first night that like we like talked for like a really long time by ourselves. And I think the next day I went to work and I came over to talk to her and we kissed on the couch. I think we kissed when we played Xbox 2.
That first time?
I think so. But like I said, like my emotional mindset was just like it all kind of blurs together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and when you're saying kiss, I mean it's like a peck on the cheek or on the
No, it's just like a new relationship, like a passion kiss.
Like making out?
Yeah, just like, but like, I don't know, it didn't really feel right, it just kind of felt indifferent. Like at that point, I think I was realizing that like this wasn't going to fix anything. I just, you know, with whatever, I just wanted to keep it going, like trying to save my make-believe life.
At the start of the interrogation, Christopher pretended Aaron's name was unfamiliar, even struggling to recall her surname. But the facts tell a different story. His innocent act is bound to crumble, revealing a disturbing reality.
I went back to the house, and then we talked about it over text, and it was like, well, it wasn't that weird, you know.
What was the next time?
She texted me late at night, said something was up, and so I went out and met her by the playground by our house, and we kissed there.
Your wife was in the house?
Yeah, no, I was sleeping.
Okay. Did she ever catch you going out or sneaking out or anything like that? Or she knew you were talking to her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was starting to get suspicious, I think, at that point. And because I'm usually not real guarded about my phone. I'm on it pretty constantly because of work, and I have names on those, but I had like 6 different passwords on it, and like all sorts of things.
And she knew you were being more guarded about the phone?
Yeah. I thought I was playing smart, but
you said she found out or she got it?
she was getting really suspicious, and I guess what she did was she took this SIM card out of my phone and plugged it into the computer and accessed my text messages through that.
Okay. What kind of text messages did she file?
Just like, hey, I love you, I'm glad we're seeing each other, stuff like that, because I thought I was in love with her, but it was just that make-believe life that I was in love with, that not normal dude.
She pulls that out. Did you go with your phone, or what, did she get your phone at work? How did she get that SIM card out of there?
She did it during the night while I was sleeping, so I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. And she naturally and rightfully lost her mind. We had a huge argument, I told her everything, how I was feeling.
In March 2014, Nicole discovered the affair and told John, revealing her husband's infidelity. This revelation seemingly ended the relationship between Aaron and Christopher, but did they truly stop? As the footage unfolds, more about their connection will come to light, especially since Christopher remains unaware that the detective is skillfully employing the Reed technique, a method designed to build psychological pressure and influence the suspect into revealing the truth.
And how many times did you guys kiss?
4 tops.
Okay. So you guys kissed 4 times. Did anything else happen other than kissing?
No.
Okay. Any touching, groping?
Maybe some hands up and down while we're kissing, but nothing real heavy.
Okay.
Nothing under clothes or anything like that.
Okay, so clothes never came off. Any oral sex on either side?
No, it never went past kissing.
Okay. Never had any type of intercourse with her?
No.
Okay. So tell me the farthest that you did with her?
The farthest we went was making out and hands moving across each other's bodies, just kind of basic new relation exploration type stuff, when you kiss somebody, you move your hands around, you pull them closer. That's as far as we ever got.
Do you ever seriously consider making that the real life, or making her the real person that you want to be with?
I think in my mind I thought I did, but it was a big part of me not ever going anywhere, because I didn't ever want her to get a broken home, and I think that's what really drew me back and kept me from going super far, was the fact that I had my daughter, in my mind I knew that it was wrong what I was doing, and that I told her that I wouldn't leave her, and I told her that I had thought about it, and if I didn't have, then I might, but since she was there, I wouldn't.
Okay, so you guys talked about you actually leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about those conversations.
She asked, because we thought we were perfect together, we thought we were happy, because it's the new relationship. Nothing,
you and Aaron?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing could go wrong. We didn't fight at all. And she's like, why don't we just stay with each other? I'm and then I tell her I'm not gonna put Liberty through a broken home. She's like, well, Liberty's a strong kid. She do it. Regardless, how strong she is, it's just not something that I want to put her through. We bounced ideas back and forth, but I don't know if I knew it was wrong, or it's just like subconsciously, like I knew I would never do it, but I just told her, this stuff's not going to happen. I think we had talked about it a couple times. We might have texted about it, but I never really seriously considered actually ever leaving. Almost did a couple times just by pure chance, but like if it wasn't for her, I would have put 6 in the cylinder.
Okay. So this is kind of like your anchor, your strong.
She's my strong one. So.
Okay. But I mean, okay, so without her, would you ever seriously consider, making Aaron your relationship, or, kind of fixing you while fixing Aaron, or, kind of thought?
Not now that I know.
Well, before,
yeah. When me and Aaron were at our strongest, I probably would have, because like everything seemed like it was perfect. But, I can't even say it was real because I don't even know if she was telling me the truth or not. That's the thing, It's like watching a movie, and being like, if that could be my life, I would, but it's not real,
Last week, did you know what day that was?
It was the middle of the week, I think.
Okay. And do you know if Erin was ever pregnant?
She was.
When was she pregnant?
Before I started talking to her, she was pregnant, and then she had miscarriage. And I guess she didn't seem my bothered by it. And when I talked to her afterwards, she was like, yeah, I didn't really want the baby anyway. I didn't want to be tied down. She was glad that she miscarried, kind of. She said she wasn't upset by it because, she didn't want to have a baby. She was scared that she was going to get tied down. Because, like, at that point, like, after the miscarriage, I'm not sure if that's when, like, stuff for them started to go bad or what, but, she was like, stuff started to get worse after the miscarriage.
Christopher believes that portraying Aaron in a poor light will convince the detectives of his innocence and distance him from her disappearance. However, what he doesn't realize is that the cops have been meticulously investigating, and they've uncovered evidence that could land him in serious trouble.
You saw her Wednesday of last week?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I just know this because her came out barbecuing a lot. I don't remember the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she came out to say something to him. Because whenever they were out, I would usually just go inside, just because like just trying to avoid them, just
on the phone. But did you guys ever exchange letters, poems, anything like that that was like written, or did you guys ever read stuff to each other or anything like that?
I think she kept a journal. I don't think I ever wrote anything, because I write recreationally, but I never actually physically wrote or anything.
This is another of his many lies, because the letter here proves what he had actually written for Aaron, which makes things undeniably clear.
So you saw her last Wednesday. What kind of car did she got?
Her? Yeah. A blue Corolla.
And I know you talked to the deputies, but what day did the deputies talk to you?
Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, I think.
Okay. When did they say that Aaron was missing? Or do you know when Aaron was missing?
I think they said Saturday afternoon or Saturday time frame is what they said.
Saturday afternoon she went missing?
Yeah, well, because they said that they talked to me, they said I hadn't heard from a while, and she didn't come home, and then, he was concerned. That's what they told me. So they didn't give me an exact time when she was.
You gotta be honest with me. If you met her, if you talked to her, something, if that happened, you gotta be honest with me here. Because would there be any reason why we have some evidence linking you to that scene over here in the dirt near her car?
Not really. I mean, besides the fact that I'm over there, multiple times a week. And this is where I drive when I shoot from Pelican.
How many times has her car been there?
I don't know. This would be the first time that I've known it being there.
Here's what concerns me. if you guys were meeting up, if you guys were hanging out, you don't want your wife to find out, you don't want the military to find out, because here's the deal, dude. I don't work for the military, okay? I know you can be court-martialed and all that stuff. I don't care about that. I'm not worried about affairs. That's not what I'm worried about, okay? That's not my job, okay? Whatever that is, dude, you're getting out, that's something completely different. I don't care about that. I don't care if you had an affair. I don't care if you guys had. That's not what I'm worried about here, okay? That's not what I'm getting at. If you guys met here, okay, and there's some evidence that leads me to believe that you did meet here, okay? I need you to be honest with me, because again, I don't work for the military, okay? I'm not your wife. I'm not going to judge you. We're sitting here, it seems like, I'm trying to be real with you. It seems like you're trying to be real with me, but it feels like you're kind of holding back a little bit. And I need you to kind of open up and be honest with me, okay? Because if you met her there and something happened, dude, you're talking about going out in the mountains, you're talking about some other guy shooting, dude, if she got hurt, if she got shot, if something happened to her in the mountains, I need to know about that. Her family needs to know about it. And that's what we're looking at right now. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I do.
Okay. So, is there any reason why I would believe that you met her there?
No, there shouldn't be. I mean, can you tell me, what kind of evidence it is?
Chris, we're not gonna go there, okay? The most important thing is that you're being honest with me.
I am, and I understand.
I need you to be straightforward with me, okay?
Chris has been sitting in the interrogation room for a while now, never once questioning why he's there. Now the detective sees the perfect opportunity to confront him directly. According to Chris, the day Aaron went missing, he was at Joshua Tree National Park hunting coyotes. Coincidentally, Aaron had also told John she planned to scout hiking trails at the same park. After that, she vanished without a trace. Both were supposedly in the same location, and tire tracks at the scene seem to confirm it. This raises a critical question. Did Chris meet Aaron that day, and did something happen between them that led to her tragic fate?
You guys met up there on Saturday?
We didn't meet up.
Okay. Have you ever been out with her up in the mountains or in this area?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Do you know if she's been in this area?
I don't.
Because this is a scary situation up there. You're talking about a guy, you're a military trained guy. She's 19 years old. She's not trained. She doesn't know what's going on as far as that goes. And if something happened, did something happen up here?
No. Well, besides, I was alone, so everything that happened is what happened.
Chris, we need to be honest here, okay? You talk about evidence, right? You talk about you want to be straight up. I'm being straight up with you. We do have some evidence there, okay? Your tire tracks are there, as well as her tire tracks, and your tire tracks drove over hers, showing that you met her there. And your tire tracks drove over hers. Okay, so it shows that both vehicles were there at the same time. So I'm having a hard time explaining, let's figure out why both of your vehicles were there at the same time. Help me understand that.
They couldn't have been. Could her vehicle have been there and then left and then my tire tracks drove over them?
No, your tire tracks drove over hers.
And I don't know how that happened.
So here's the thing. She drove there Saturday morning. Okay, she drove there in the morning. Your tire tracks drove over hers. You said the last time you drove over there was Thursday. She doesn't drive out there every day. Her car was still there. Your tracks drove over hers since Saturday.
Could have been a different vehicle because I wasn't out there Saturday.
You gotta be honest with me.
I'm being honest with you.
You gotta be honest with me. You have to give me something to explain. I have to go out here. I've been talking to you for hours. My supervisor hasn't. My supervisor knows things, the evidence at the scene. Okay? I have to have something. I have to walk out here and go tell my sergeant, okay, this is what explains. This is why his tire tracks are over hers. And this is why it makes sense. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay, so I need something. You gotta be honest here. You gotta really be honest here. Because I need to go out and tell my sergeant, hey, this is why. You gotta give me something.
I don't know why it would be like that.
Why are your Jeep tracks over her Corolla tracks?
I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one with those kind of tires. I mean, they're a pretty common brand. It could have been any other vehicle, but it wasn't mine. I wasn't out there Saturday. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I mean, if she was lying to me, and with me, she very well would have been helping with somebody else.
You gotta give me something. You gotta be honest here, Chris. Here's the deal, man. I've been doing this a long time. We've been doing this a long time. Okay? We found our vehicle. Okay? We found your tire tracks. I've been working lots of cases with tire tracks. I know you were out there. Okay? You're not the only person we've talked to. Okay? She was reported missing on Sunday morning. We've been working this nonstop since Sunday morning. There's multiple detectives out there at the scene. There's search and rescue. There's cadaver dogs. We're going to find out what happened to her. Okay? We're going to find out what happened to Erin. She's not okay. Something happened out there, and she's not okay. And we're not going to stop until the truth is out there.
The tire tracks from Chris's car alongside Erin's hint at the dark events that transpired. A passerby named Michael even saw Erin getting into Chris's car. He still doesn't have a clue that the detectives already know about their meeting. Chris is in for a surprise.
Here's what I need to understand from you, okay? We've talked to Jesse. We've talked to other witnesses that know a lot about what's going on. It's not hidden from people. We know that you were going to meet her on Saturday. We know that. We know that you were going to go take her for a long drive and it was going to be a surprise. We know those things. Okay? We know that you met with her on Saturday morning. The day that she went missing. We know that. Okay? And we also know that you were one of the last people to see her alive. Chris, something happened out there. We know that something happened out there. You know that something happened out there. And we just need to understand what happened out there. We need to understand why it happened out there. And I don't believe you're a cold-blooded killer. Okay? You had some problems. You were dealing with it. You were trying to get yourself right. And I don't believe you're a cold-blooded killer because I deal with cold-blooded killers all the time. But something happened out there. And I need to understand what happened. Because the truth is going to come out. We're going to find her. The truth is going to happen. We're going to be able to find out the truth when we find her. Okay? And we need to know that truth. That's what we're after here. So is this right? Are you a cold-blooded killer? Did something happen? Was there an accident? Did something just happen out there?
I didn't see her on Saturday.
Okay, we're past that. You gotta listen to me right now. We're past that part, and I understand you're saying that. But right now, this moment right now is the most important moment of your life. You didn't plan her murder, and you were going to go out there, and you were just going to kill her. Just be a cold-blooded killer, kill her, get rid of her, and then go on with your life. Is that what happened?
No.
Okay. So something happened out there. We know that something happened out there. And you have knowledge of what happened out there. Okay, so I need to understand what happened. Because that truth is going to... We're not going to stop. Chris, we're not going to stop. We're not going home. We've been working this for days at a time. Okay? There's lots and lots of people working on this case right now. It's a very important case that she has found. Okay? And we know something happened to her. We know something bad happened to her. Okay, we know that. And we know that you were meeting her on Saturday. We know that. We know that you met with her on Saturday. And explain to me what happened. Because the truth is going to eventually come out. So here's your opportunity. She has lots of family, and this is not going away. It's not going to just be a missing person case where we forget about it and everyone goes back to their own lives. Okay? And everyone forgets about her, and everyone just goes back to work and just drives back and goes back to their normal jobs and their 8 to 5s. Okay? This case, we're not going to stop until we find out exactly what happened there. Are you afraid that we're going to think automatically that you had something to do with it?
No, I didn't take anyone with me when I went coaching.
Okay, what happened when you met her on Saturday morning?
I didn't meet her on Saturday morning.
We already know you did, okay? We know you met with her. We know from friends, okay? There's phones. There's phone records. I know you don't want your wife to find out. Okay? I know you're afraid of what your wife's going to think because your daughter. I understand that. I have small kids. There's nothing I wouldn't do in the world for my kids. Okay? And I already understand that you said that you're only alive because your daughter's here. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
That your daughter is the most important thing to you? Okay? I know that. I know you're afraid of what your wife's going to find out, and you're afraid you're going to lose your daughter. I know you're afraid of your wife finding out. Okay? You already told her, hey, we're done. We're not seeing each other anymore. You still were seeing each other. You still were talking. Okay? You don't want your wife to find that out. You're afraid of what's going to happen if your wife finds that out. I know that. You don't want to lose your daughter. You don't want to move back to Alaska and lose your daughter and lose your wife. But really, it's about your daughter. Because you already admitted that if your daughter wasn't in the picture, it would be no problem. You could leave and go with somebody else. That was not the issue. Your daughter is what's important to you.
In fact, the trip they'd planned for that day left a trail in the messages Erin sent to her friends the day before. But the question begs, why did they propose to meet? The answer unfolds in the next clip, where reality will hit Chris.
I didn't see her on Saturday. I just saw her vehicle. I was out that way when I was picking up more tires for a fire. And I drove past it to see if she was in there, but she wasn't. I didn't actually ever see her on Saturday. I was worried that if I told you guys I saw her car because of my previous relationship with her, you would automatically assume I did something.
This is my sergeant Thomas. He knows who I am. I think you guys met.
How you doing? You all right? I don't know what might have been going through your head when you found out she was pregnant, but I can only imagine if it were me, I'd have a hell of a lot to think about. There'd be a lot of emotions. There'd be a lot of stuff built up inside when we do find Erin. I don't know if you know or not, but she went to the emergency room not too long ago. She may have told you about that, I'm not sure. But when we do find her, they did some embryonic tests on her because they didn't know what was going on with her. I think that's actually when they probably found out she was pregnant. I'm not for certain, but I think that's, and I'm only telling you this because that's, I'm only gathering all this information. When we find Erin, and I have that blood sample from that hospital, and I test it with your blood, and it comes back with your DNA, everything everybody's been telling us is going to be the truth. You're the only person that can see otherwise. And you know you are. And I'm not saying I already tested that and it's going to come back with your DNA. I'm not going to, Chris, it's not going to happen like that. What do you have to say then? That's what the question's going to be. Does any of that make sense?
It does.
Because you know she was pregnant with your child.
She wasn't pregnant with my child.
Well, maybe you really don't know. I don't know. That's what she's telling everybody. I'm not going to pretend like you do know for sure. I don't know if you do or not. But I can tell you that's what she was telling everybody. All the way up to the fact that she was going to meet you on Saturday, and she was waiting for you. We actually had somebody speaking with her. So up until the time that you showed up, I don't know. I don't know if you guys got separated out there somewhere after you guys had left together. I don't know. But I do know you guys were together. I'm positive. Just to confirm, she was not in your car at all on Saturday, correct?
No.
Okay. And you guys didn't go anywhere together?
No.
Okay. And you just drove by and you saw her car and you were looking for tires?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all those messages she sent everybody are lies. It's very evident that you guys use Snapchat. Let's just put it that way. Or software similar to. Everything that you've sent and that has disappeared on your screen is still inside your phone. Today we have scheduled mine crews coming. We've done it before in Barstow. Don't know if that's where she's at, but they're going out there today. So no reason at all that you can think of that why she would message people saying that she's planning to meet with you on Saturday, and why she would talk to somebody on the phone Saturday morning and say, hey, he's coming right now. No reason she'd just lie about that.
Yeah, she very well could have overheard me talking to me and because where I usually make plans with their bedroom window is right above that. So if it was open at all, she easily could have heard what my plans were.
And so you think she set you up and then disappeared?
No, I just don't think she ever got over the fact that we had stopped seeing each other, and I think she was trying to maintain that appearance with her friends.
So she would tell her stuff like, he's going to meet me on Saturday, I'm really excited, I think he's going to propose to me, and all this other stuff just to get her off the phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. That's really weird.
She openly lied to people in her life. She lied to me. A pathological liar is a liar. They're not going to care who they lie to.
What she lied to you about?
She told me that her husband was beating her and that she was afraid for her life, and the only reason she couldn't go home was he wouldn't let her.
Chris is adamant about portraying Erin as a pathological liar, trying to undermine her credibility. Unfortunately for him, Erin had also texted her friends that he was planning to propose that day. That very text would become the first blow in his downfall.
That I've been working these scenes for so long, and our crime scene people have been working these scenes for so long, and we know exactly what it shows us. And you're basically telling us that the evidence is a lie, that it didn't happen. And how do you think that's possible?
I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible.
So you think it's possible that her shoe impressions can be walking up to your car?
It could be possible.
And then, honestly, Christy Evans tells us that she did get into your vehicle. I just don't know why. Maybe that fear, you have more fear that we're going to think even more that you had something to do with it because she got in your vehicle. I don't know. I mean, perhaps. Is that what it is? Are you afraid that because she got in your car that we're going to think you did something?
She didn't get into my vehicle.
You ever do a polygraph test?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the lie detector.
Okay. You ever taken one before?
No.
Okay. If I were to ask you on a polygraph test, if you had anything to do or had any knowledge of anything to do with Erin's death, what would you say?
Said no.
What would the results be?
It'd be truthful.
How about we take one?
I'd rather not.
Okay.
Because I'm emotionally unstable right now, and I don't want to give off false readings.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about, when we do analysis on your computers and your phones and all that stuff, are we going to see things like that being Googled, polygraph machines and what they do?
No.
Okay. Are we going to see anything about murder or anything like that?
Probably just under a month ago.
What would you search it on?
We were using Google on my phone and his phone, I think. Yes.
Okay. And what were the results? What did you find out?
Pigs.
Pigs?
Mm-hmm.
What does it say pigs do?
They eat them.
Are you serious? I've never heard of that. Holy crap. That's a new one. What else did it say? Anything else?
No, one of them said a fire, but then I got into this huge debate how it takes like a crematorium like 8 hours to dissolve or to completely dissolve a body, and fires are really ineffective. The best answer the form gave was to eat them.
Eat the person?
Mm-hmm.
Cannibalism?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you eat the bones up?
You grind them up and then you just get rid of the dust.
What are you going to use to grind them up?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
You could. And I've never really dealt with bone before.
Well, I mean, I see a lot of bone on you, obviously, and I can't see that happening. That's weird, because if you were to actually try to hammer it, there's just too many chunks. That's a trick, man. Was burial in the desert part of it?
No.
That you didn't see anyone there?
No. Well, someone said another way is to dig a vertical hole and then put the body in the vertical hole and then put like a dead animal on top of that and then bury that animal.
Yeah, but that's old, man. We always go below the animal.
Yeah.
I've had a couple holes, believe it or not. Usually when we find the animal, we go below it. Sometimes we don't find anything. What does it say about mine shafts?
Didn't say anything about that.
We've had a lot of cases like that. Mine shaft ones. Out here in San Diego County. Did you do any searches on those ones?
No.
Yeah, shoot, man. We've had, at least on 2 hands that I can count, mine shaft cases. It's a pretty good idea. Problem is, it's been done so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So when you Googled that, you Googled how to dispose of a body?
Yeah, it was a conversation we had.
Can you think of anybody that was there that was present during that conversation?
No, not really. Because it didn't stick in my mind as important, so.
Chris had clearly done his research before meeting Aaron that day, and his computer search history revealed chilling evidence. He had looked up how to dispose of dead bodies. Armed with this disturbing knowledge, he put his plan into motion. When Aaron agreed to meet him and had unsuspectingly got into his Jeep, seizing the opportunity when she was off guard, Chris used a garrote to strangle her to death.
Another thing we're going to do is we're going to take a buccal swab, which is just a swab on the inside of the mouth. Mm-hmm. That's for DNA testing, because the hospital has a DNA sample of the, I guess, sperm, they did something with the fetus that day when she was in the emergency room. I do not know what it was, but we're going to do a DNA test on that, just double check that. That usually takes a while.
The interrogation ended without Chris providing any concrete details about what happened that day, leaving investigators no choice but to release him. Meanwhile, the search for Aaron continued. Volunteers joined the effort, and on August 16, 2014, 2 months after her disappearance, investigators made a grim discovery. Aaron's body was found at the bottom of an abandoned mine shaft. Some reports indicated she was lying nearly 1,000 feet down. Nearby, they found green cloth, a propane tank, and a gasoline tank. It was clear someone had attempted to burn the body, but due to a lack of oxygen, the fire never ignited. The corpse, heavily decomposed, was identified through dental records. The autopsy report confirmed signs of blunt force trauma and strangulation. The garrote used was still near her neck, further solidifying the gruesome nature of the crime. In addition to this, DNA evidence found at the scene matched Chris, leaving no room for doubt about his involvement. The next day, on August 17, 2014, Chris was arrested at his home in Anchorage, Alaska, the same city where the infamous Brian Stevens Smith case unfolded. Check out our video covering that chilling case as well. On November 3, 2016, Christopher Lee was found guilty and was charged for first-degree murder. During the court trial, he confessed to killing Aaron. He also made a shocking claim which left everyone in the courtroom baffled.
I need to tell the truth. I couldn't live with myself if I kept this a secret any longer. We started having a conversation about plans. She wanted to come to Alaska. She wanted to be part of Liberty's life. I told her, I didn't want that. Told her, I decided that, you can't be part of Liberty's life. And she said that she wanted to, that she loved Liberty, and I told her, it's not your choice, it's not your daughter, you don't get to love her, she's mine.
What were you thinking at that point?
I was thinking there's no reason for Erin to love Liberty. She was not hers. She shouldn't have any kind of emotional attachment to her. She thought maybe Erin had Liberty because she was uncomfortable with the way she was around her when she had been watching her.
What was your reaction to that?
I felt so safe in my little community that I didn't think it was possible.
So you didn't believe Nicole?
No, not at the time. When Erin told me she loved Liberty and that she wanted to be with her, something clicked. It turned a gear in my head, and I said, why do you care about Liberty so much? Why do you want to be part of her life? And Erin told me, I just love her. And I stood up and I stopped her and I said, did you touch Liberty? And she reeled back a little bit and started stuttering over words, and she was saying, I, and I stopped her again. And I yelled at her this time. I said, did you, my daughter? And she said, yes, but, and that was the last thing I heard her say. I stumbled back and I sat on the edge of my Jeep and caught myself with my hands. And in my right hand, I felt the metal from the garrote. It set me off. I just felt so much hate, so much rage. And I grabbed it and I stood up and I came up behind her and I put it around her neck. Training took over then, and I turned around and I started pulling. Nothing would have stopped me from doing what I was doing. I told myself while I was doing this, never again. I wasn't going to let anybody hurt my daughter again. I had let her into my daughter's life. It was my fault that my daughter was hurt. I just kept choking her. I don't know how long it was. Might have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It felt like forever. And I just kept choking her. And then the anger, that feeling of disgust and hate ebbed a little bit, and I let go. And she dropped to the ground. After a few minutes went by, I realized what happened. I know I killed her. And so the garrote was still around her neck. So I grabbed it and I dragged her to the edge of the mine shaft and I pushed her in.
That's about 10 seconds in. You could have stopped. Right?
No.
"20 seconds in, you could have stopped.
No.
Why not?
Nothing would have stopped me at this point. I was too angry.
For about 40 seconds in, you're still doing it.
Yes, sir.
That's about a minute in. You're still doing it.
Yes, sir.
And your testimony is you couldn't have stopped. You couldn't have just let go of those handles.
No.
Minute 20? Still no, huh?
No.
Okay. You let go. Can you let go now?
Yes, sir.
Then you threw her down a mine shaft, didn't you?
I did.
Like a piece of trash.
I threw it on the mine shaft, yes.
Like a piece of trash. Right?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yes.
He claimed his motive was that Erin had allegedly molested his daughter, Liberty. A claim that remains unverified, casting a shadow of doubt over his justification. The jury, however, was swift and unanimous in their decision, and on November 29, 2016, they took only 15 minutes to sentence him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Erin was just 19, a young woman full of dreams, hoping to start her own family someday. The miscarriage was a devastating blow, leaving her emotionally vulnerable. With John absent to provide comfort, she became ensnared in Christopher's web of deceitful devotion, a trust that ultimately led to her tragic and brutal end. Her family, friends, and classmates are left to carry the weight of her loss, forever mourning the future that was stolen from her. Erin's story is a heartbreaking reminder of how quickly trust can be manipulated and turned against us. Her dreams, her life, and her future were stolen by someone she believed cared for her. As we reflect on this case, one haunting question remains. If Erin had been more cautious about Chris, could this outcome have been avoided? Were her dreams of starting a family and having a child blinding her to the dangers lurking around her? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and for more gripping content like this, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.